Ladies, I need you to hear me. I need you to feel this. Because today I came with a message that will shake you, a message that will wake you up. I'm talking to the women who have been too nice, too quiet, too forgiving, too soft. I'm talking to the women who have let the world walk all over them, the women who have let their power be dimmed. Today, I'm here to tell you, stop being soft. Stop being the woman who settles. Stop being the woman who shrinks. Stop being the woman who apologizes for taking up space. Pause for impact. Let the silence speak. Because let me tell you something, the world doesn't respect softness. The world respects power. The world respects confidence. And today we are stepping into a new era of women who are done playing small. Stop seeking approval. Why do we crave approval so much? Why do we wait for someone else to validate us before we believe in our own worth? Think about it. How many times have you hesitated before making a decision, wondering, what will people think? How many times have you dimmed your light just so someone else wouldn't feel uncomfortable? From the moment we are born, society conditions us to seek approval. As children, we learn to look to our parents for validation. Did I do good, mom? Did I make you proud, dad? In school, we learn that gold stars and high grades mean we are worthy. In friendships, we learn that fitting in is more important than standing out. And as we grow into adulthood, we still carry this invisible rule book that says, you are only enough if other people say you are. But let me tell you something. Waiting for approval is the fastest way to waste your life. Imagine you have a burning passion inside you, a dream to start your own business, to leave a toxic relationship, to move to a new city, to chase a career that excites you. But instead of just doing it, you stop, you hesitate, you start asking, what will my family think? What will my friends say? What if they don't support me? What if they laugh? And just like that, you put your dream on hold because you are waiting for permission that will never come. Let's get real. People will always have opinions. No matter what you do, someone will have something to say. If you stay in your comfort zone, they'll say you're playing it too safe. If you take a risk, they'll say you're being reckless. If you follow your dreams, they'll say you think you're better than us. And if you don't, they'll say, you never had it in you anyway. So tell me, if they're going to talk anyway, why not do what makes you happy? Look at the most successful, powerful, and confident people in the world. Oprah Winfrey, Beyonce, Michelle Obama, Serena Williams. Do you think these women waited for approval? Do you think Oprah sat down and asked, do you think people will like me if I start my own talk show? Do you think Beyonce questioned, will they be mad if I step out on my own and become a solo artist? No, they made a decision to be great with or without approval. And guess what? When you stop seeking approval, you become free. Free to say no to things that don't serve you. Free to walk away from toxic people. Free to chase your dreams without hesitation. Free to be your authentic self without apologizing. And let me tell you, the day you stop waiting for permission is the day your life truly begins. Think about it. Have you ever seen a lion in a cage? That lion still has the same power, the same strength, the same ability to roar, but it doesn't because it has been conditioned to believe it is trapped. That's exactly what happens when you live for approval. You are caging yourself in a life that was never meant to be small. Let me share a personal story. I knew a woman who had a dream of starting a bakery. She had the talent, the passion, and the skills. But every time she thought about starting, she worried. What will people say? What if they think I'm crazy for quitting my job? What if they judge me? And so she waited and waited and waited. Years went by. Her dream was still inside her, but she never moved. One day, she met another woman. Same age, same passion, same dream. But this woman had already opened 3 successful bakeries. What was the difference? The second woman didn't wait for approval. She just did it. That's the difference between people who live their dreams and people who only talk about them. So, I ask you today, what are you waiting for? Who are you still trying to please? Whose approval are you still chasing? Because here's the truth, the people who truly love you will support you no matter what, and the people who don't, their opinions never mattered anyway. Today, I challenge you to do something without seeking approval. Make a decision purely for yourself, whether it's starting that project, wearing that outfit, speaking up in a meeting, or simply saying no to something that doesn't align with you. Do it. And watch how powerful you feel. Remember, the world respects people who respect themselves. And self-respect starts the moment you decide, I don't need your approval to be great. Stop apologizing for who you are. Why do we do it? Why do we say sorry for things that don't even need an apology? Sorry for speaking up. Sorry for asking a question. Sorry for expressing how I feel. Sorry for taking up space. Enough. You are not a mistake. You are not a burden. And you certainly do not need to shrink yourself just to make others comfortable. Think about how many times in a day you say, I'm sorry. Now ask yourself, did I actually do something wrong? A woman walks into a room and someone bumps into her. She says, oh, I'm sorry. She's in a meeting and before she shares an idea, she starts with, sorry, this might sound silly, but she texts her friend late at night and immediately types, sorry to bother you. Why do we do this? Why do we feel the need to apologize for existing? Somewhere along the way, we were taught that being a good woman means being quiet, agreeable, and always accommodating. We were taught to make ourselves smaller so others wouldn't feel threatened. We were taught that confidence is arrogance and that having boundaries is selfish. But that's it. LIE, let me tell you something. Men don't do this. They don't apologize for having opinions. They don't soften their voices so they don't offend anyone. They don't say sorry before they speak. And do you know what happens? They are heard, they are respected, they are taken seriously. So what if you stopped saying sorry for things that don't need an apology? What if instead of sorry for being late, you said thank you for waiting? What if instead of sorry to interrupt, you said I have something to add? What if instead of sorry for taking up your time, you said I appreciate your time? Do you see the difference? It's not about being rude, it's about standing in your power. Let me share a story with you. There was a woman named Lisa. Lisa was smart, hardworking, and full of ideas. But every time she spoke in a meeting, she felt the need to soften her words. She would say, sorry, I just think maybe we should consider, or I'm not sure, but what if we tried? One day her boss pulled her aside and said, Lisa, why do you keep apologizing? You are one of the smartest people in the room. Own it. Speak with confidence. That day changed everything for her. She stopped saying sorry for having ideas. She stopped apologizing for being smart. And guess what? People started listening. People started taking her seriously. And I want you to take yourself seriously too. Imagine walking into a room and owning your presence. Imagine speaking without shrinking your voice. Imagine saying what you mean without following it with an unnecessary apology. I challenge you. For the next 24 hours, pay attention to how many times you say, I'm sorry. And if you didn't actually do anything wrong, stop yourself. Replace it with confidence. Replace it with certainty. Replace it with power. Because you, my dear, are not an accident. You are not an inconvenience. You are not a mistake. You are a force. You are a queen. You are powerful. And powerful women do not apologize for who they are. How many times have you said yes when you really wanted to say no? How many times have you agreed to something that drained your energy, stole your time, and left you feeling resentful just because you were too afraid to say that one small but powerful word, no? Women especially have been conditioned to be pleasers, to be accommodating, to put others first, even at the expense of ourselves. We are taught that saying no is rude, that it makes us selfish, that it makes us unlikable. But let me ask you this, is it really selfish to protect your energy? Is it selfish to guard your time? Is it selfish to refuse to do things that make you unhappy? Is it selfish to put yourself first for once? No, it is not selfish. It is necessary. Think about how often you say yes just to keep the peace. A friend asks for a favor, and even though you're exhausted, you say, of course. Your boss piles more work on your desk, and even though you're already drowning, you say, sure, I can handle it. A family member asks you for money, and even though you're struggling yourself, you feel guilty saying no. And every time you do this, every time you betray your own needs just to please others, a little piece of you disappears. You lose a little more of your joy. You lose a little more of your time. You lose a little more of yourself. Let me tell you a story. There was a woman named Maria. Maria was the go-to person in her family, the dependable one, the one who never said no. If someone needed a ride, Maria would drop everything to help. If someone needed money, Maria would give it even when she couldn't afford to. If someone needed her time, Maria would rearrange her entire schedule to accommodate them. She never complained, she never set boundaries, she never said no, until one day she hit a breaking point. She was exhausted, overworked, overwhelmed. She had given so much of herself to others that she had nothing left for herself. And when she finally needed help, when she needed someone to be there for her, guess what? No one showed up. Because people had gotten so used to Maria saying yes that they never even considered she might need a yes in return. That's the problem when you don't set boundaries. People get comfortable taking from you and they never stop. People assume you'll always be available, so they never ask if you need a break. People respect the boundaries you enforce, not the ones you wish they would respect. And here's the harsh truth. If you don't start saying no, you will live a life that belongs to everyone but you. You will live your life on everyone else's terms. You will wake up one day and realize you spent years pleasing everyone except yourself. So tell me, when will you start choosing you? Saying no does not make you a bad person. Saying no does not make you mean. Saying no means you respect yourself enough to protect your time, energy, and peace. Think about the most successful people in the world. Do you think Oprah says yes to everything? Do you think Beyoncé agrees to every request? Do you think Serena Williams allows people to drain her energy? Absolutely not, because they know that their time, their energy, and their peace are sacred. And guess what? So is yours. So starting today, I challenge you, say no without guilt. If something doesn't align with your values, say no. If something drains your energy, say no. If something doesn't make you happy, say no. You don't owe anyone an explanation. You don't need to justify your decision. You don't need to feel guilty, because no is a complete sentence. And the moment you learn to say no without fear is the moment you take back control of your life. Stop letting fear control you. Fear is the thief of dreams. It whispers in your ear, telling you that you're not good enough, not smart enough, not strong enough. It convinces you to stay in your comfort zone, to play small, to wait until you're ready. But let me ask you, how long have you been waiting? How many opportunities have passed you by because you were too afraid to take the leap? How many dreams have you buried because fear convinced you that you weren't capable? How many times have you silenced yourself, held yourself back, or played it safe just because of the what-ifs? Fear is powerful, but here's the truth. Fear only has as much power as you give it. Think about a little child learning to walk. That child falls over and over again, but do they ever say, maybe walking isn't for me? Do they sit down and give up because it's scary? No, they get up, they try again, they keep moving. Because fear hasn't conditioned them yet. But as we grow, society teaches us to be careful. Don't take risks. Don't go after something unless you're sure you'll succeed. What if you fail? What if people laugh at you? What if you embarrass yourself? And just like that, fear takes over. We stop trying new things. We stop stepping outside our comfort zones. We start living small, predictable, safe lives. But tell me, is that really living? Let me tell you a story. There was a woman named Jessica. Jessica had always dreamed of starting her own business. She had ideas, passion, and talent. But every time she thought about taking the leap, fear paralyzed her. What if I fail? What if people don't take me seriously? What if I lose money? So for years, she stayed in a job she hated. Every morning she woke up feeling drained. Every night she went to bed thinking maybe next year. One day, she met a mentor who asked her a simple question. What's scarier? Trying and failing, or waking up 10 years from now and realizing you never even tried? That question hit her like a lightning bolt. She realized that her biggest fear wasn't failure, it was regret. That day she made a decision. She stopped letting fear dictate her life. She stopped making excuses. She stopped waiting for the perfect moment. And guess what? She built a business. It wasn't perfect. She made mistakes, and yes, she had moments of doubt, but she was finally living. And that's what I want for you. Fear will always be there. It doesn't go away. Even the most successful people in the world feel fear. But the difference between them and everyone else, they do it anyway. They feel the fear and they move forward. They feel the doubt and they take action. They don't let fear control their choices. Now, ask yourself, what is fear keeping you from? Is it keeping you from speaking up, from going after your dream, from leaving a toxic situation? from saying yes to an opportunity that excites you? Because here's what fear doesn't want you to know. Everything you want is on the other side of it. The confidence you're seeking, it's on the other side of fear. The success you desire, it's on the other side of fear. The life you've been dreaming about, it's on the other side of fear. So what are you waiting for? You will never feel ready. You will never feel fearless. But if you wait for those things, you will waste your whole life standing still. So today, I challenge you, do one thing that scares you. Speak up, take the risk, step into the unknown. Because when you stop letting fear control you, you finally start living the life you are meant to live. Stop seeking validation from others. How many times have you held yourself back because you were waiting for someone else to tell you that you're good enough? How many times have you stopped yourself from chasing a dream, wearing what you love, speaking your mind, just because you were afraid of what they might think? We live in a world that teaches women to seek approval. From the time we are little girls, we are conditioned to be pleasers, to be liked, to be accepted. Don't be too loud. Don't be too opinionated. Make sure everyone is comfortable. We are taught that our worth is tied to what other people think of us. And so we adjust ourselves, we shrink, we mold ourselves into what we think people want us to be. But let me tell you something, seeking validation from others is a losing game, because no matter how much you try, you will never please everyone. Some people will criticize you no matter what you do. Some people will judge you whether you play it safe or take risks. Some people will always find something to dislike, even if you are the kindest, most agreeable person in the world. So why waste your energy trying to win their approval? Let me tell you a story. There was a woman named Lisa. Lisa loved art. Painting made her heart come alive, but every time she thought about pursuing it seriously, she heard the voices of others in her head. Art isn't a real career. You should do something practical. What if people don't like your work? So Lisa put her dream aside. She followed a safe path. She got a job she didn't love, lived a life that felt comfortable, and ignored the creative fire inside her. But something was missing. One day, she met an older woman who had spent her whole life worrying about what others thought. The woman looked Lisa in the eye and said, "Do you know what I regret the most? I regret all the years I wasted caring about opinions that never really mattered. I regret letting other people's judgment control my life, and now it's too late to get that time back." That was the moment Lisa realized she was letting fear of judgment steal her happiness. So she stopped waiting for permission. She started painting again. She shared her work, even though it scared her. And guess what? Some people did criticize her. Some people did say mean things. But others loved her work. Others were inspired by her courage. And most importantly, Lisa was finally living for herself. And that is what I want for you. I want you to stop waiting for the world to tell you that you're good enough. You don't need permission to be bold. You don't need approval to live your truth. You don't need validation from anyone but yourself. The most successful, powerful women in history, they didn't get there by seeking approval. They got there by trusting themselves, by believing in their own worth, even when no one else did. Think about Oprah. Do you think she waited for people to believe in her before she stepped into her greatness? No. She kept going, even when she was doubted, even when people told her she wasn't good enough. Think about Beyonce. Do you think she asks for permission to shine? No, she owns her power, and that's why the world respects her. And now, think about you. Are you living for yourself? Are you living for the opinions of others? Because here's the truth. People's opinions don't pay your bills. People's opinions won't build your dreams. People's opinions won't bring you happiness. So why give them so much power? Starting today, I want you to ask yourself this question before making any decision. Am I doing this because it truly makes me happy, or because I want someone else to approve of me? If the answer is the second one, stop. Live for yourself. Choose for yourself. Approve of yourself. Because the only validation you truly need is your own. Look around you. Who are the people in your life? Do they lift you up or do they bring you down? Do they support your dreams or do they constantly make you doubt yourself? Because here's the truth. The people you surround yourself with will either fuel your fire or extinguish your light. Too many women stay stuck in toxic relationships, draining friendships, and unhealthy environments because they feel obligated to. because they don't want to be rude or selfish by cutting people off because they think maybe I can change them or maybe it's not that bad. But let me tell you something. Your energy is your most valuable asset. And toxic people, they will drain every last drop of it if you let them. Toxic people come in many forms. There's the constant critic, the one who always finds a flaw in what you do, the one who makes you feel like no matter how hard you try, it's never enough. There's the drama magnet, the one who thrives on negativity, who constantly brings chaos into your life, who leaves you emotionally exhausted every time you talk to them. There's the jealous friend, the one who pretends to support you but secretly wants to see you fail, who gives backhanded compliments and discourages you from chasing your dreams. And then there's the worst kind, the manipulator, the one who plays mind games, who makes you question your own worth, who keeps you in their orbit just enough to control you but never enough to truly support you. Now let me ask you, why are you allowing these people to drain you? Why are you spending your precious energy on people who don't truly want to see you win? Why are you giving your time, your love, your loyalty to people who only take and never give back? Because let me tell you something, you deserve better. You deserve people in your life who encourage you, people who celebrate your success instead of resenting it, people who pour into you just as much as you pour into them. Let me tell you a story. There was a woman named Emily. Emily had a best friend since childhood, but over the years, she started noticing a pattern. Every time Emily shared good news, her friend would find a way to downplay it. Oh, you got a promotion? Must be nice. I wish I had your luck. You're starting a business? Are you sure that's a good idea? A lot of businesses fail, you know. You've been working out? Don't get too obsessed with yourself. At first, Emily ignored it. She told herself, that's just how she is. But then she started noticing something. Every time she talked to this friend, she felt drained. She started doubting herself. She started holding herself back just to avoid making her friend uncomfortable. Until one day she had enough. She realized that she had spent years watering a relationship that wasn't growing. She realized that if she kept surrounding herself with negativity, she would never become the woman she wanted to be. So she made the hardest decision. She walked away. She stopped answering calls. She stopped engaging in the negativity. She chose herself. And at first it hurt, but then she felt free. She felt lighter. She realized that cutting off toxic people wasn't losing something. It was gaining herself back. And that's what I want for you. I want you to stop feeling guilty for protecting your peace. If someone is constantly bringing you down, walk away. If someone is making you feel small, distance yourself. If someone is draining your energy instead of fueling your spirit, cut the cord. Because the truth is, not everyone deserves a seat at your table. Not everyone deserves access to you. And the longer you allow toxic people in your life, the longer you delay your own happiness. So take a deep breath, think about the people in your life, and make the choice to surround yourself with love, positivity, and the kind of energy that makes you feel alive. Because you deserve nothing less. How many times have you accepted less than you truly wanted because you were afraid of losing what you had? How many times have you told yourself it's fine, I guess, when deep down you knew you deserved more? Let's be honest. Too many women settle. They settle in relationships that don't fulfill them. They settle in jobs that drain them. They settle for friendships that don't nurture them. They settle for a life that feels okay, but never truly amazing. And do you know why? Because settling feels safe. Settling feels comfortable. Settling doesn't require taking risks or facing the unknown. But let me tell you something. Settling is the fastest way to a life of regret. Let me tell you about Rachel. Rachel had a boyfriend for 5 years. He wasn't a bad guy. He wasn't abusive, but he also wasn't the one. He didn't make her feel loved the way she wanted. He didn't support her dreams. He made her feel like she was too much, too ambitious, too emotional, too passionate. But every time she thought about leaving, she told herself, what if I never find anyone better? What if I end up alone? So she stayed. She convinced herself that average was enough. Until one day she met a woman at work who had just gotten out of a 10-year relationship. Rachel asked her, how did you know it was time to leave? The woman said something that changed Rachel's life. She said, I realized I would rather be alone and happy than with someone and miserable. And that hit Rachel like a ton of bricks. Because the truth was, she was miserable. She was staying in a relationship that didn't fulfill her simply because she was afraid of the unknown. That night, Rachel made a choice. She ended the relationship, and for the first time in years, she felt free, she felt light, she felt like she was finally making room for the love she truly deserved. And do you know what happened? A year later, she met someone who adored her, who celebrated her, who loved her in a way she had always dreamed of. But none of that would have happened if she had kept settling. And this doesn't just apply to love, it applies to everything in your life. If you are in a job that makes you miserable, stop telling yourself, at least I have a job. If you are surrounded by people who don't support you, stop telling yourself, at least I have friends. If you are living a life that doesn't excite you, stop telling yourself, at least it's not worse. You were not put on this earth to live an at least kind of life. You were put here to be fulfilled, to be inspired, to wake up every day excited about what's ahead. But that will never happen if you keep settling. The universe will not give you better until you show it that you refuse to accept less. So today I want you to ask yourself, where in my life am I settling? What am I afraid will happen if I demand more? What would my life look like if I had the courage to walk away from what no longer serves me? Because let me tell you something, you deserve more. You deserve a love that sets your soul on fire. You deserve friendships that uplift you. You deserve opportunities that challenge and excite you. You deserve a life that feels extraordinary. But first, you have to stop settling for less. And the moment you do, that's the moment everything will change. How many times have you shrunk yourself to make others comfortable? How many times have you kept quiet in a meeting even when you had something valuable to say? How many times have you downplayed your success because you didn't want to seem too much? Too often women are taught to be small, to be polite, to be accommodating, to not take up too much space in the world. But let me tell you something. You were not born to be small. You were not put on this earth to tiptoe around, to dim your light, to minimize yourself so others don't feel uncomfortable. You were born to take up space, to speak up, to be seen, to be heard, to live fully, unapologetically and without hesitation. Let me tell you about Sarah. Sarah was a brilliant woman, sharp, talented, full of ideas, but every time she was in a meeting, she found herself holding back. She would think, what if my idea isn't good enough? She would hesitate, letting someone else speak first. She would second guess herself, even when she knew she had the answer. And do you know what happened? The people who were less qualified, less knowledgeable, and less talented than her, they were the ones speaking up, they were the ones getting recognized, they were the ones being heard, while Sarah stayed quiet. Until one day, she saw a man in her office say something in a meeting, something she had thought of first, but didn't say out loud. And guess what? He got praised for it. He got rewarded for it. He got the credit. That day, Sarah realized something powerful. If I don't take up space, someone else will. And that's when everything changed. She started speaking up. She started raising her hand first. She started claiming her spot at the table without apologizing for it. And the more she did it, the more she realized something incredible. People listened. People respected her. People valued her presence, but none of that would have happened if she had kept playing small. And this isn't just about speaking up in meetings. This is about the way you carry yourself in life. Think about it. Have you ever walked into a room and immediately felt like you needed to shrink, like you needed to take up less space so you wouldn't be noticed? Have you ever apologized for things that didn't even require an apology? Have you ever dimmed your light so others wouldn't feel insecure? Stop that. Stop making yourself small to make others comfortable. Stop saying sorry when you have nothing to be sorry for. Stop acting like you don't belong, because you do. You belong in that room. You belong in that conversation. You belong at that table. You belong in the spaces you desire to be in. And if someone tries to make you feel like you don't, that's not your problem, it's theirs. Because the truth is, the world will only give you as much space as you're willing to take. So take up space. Walk with confidence, speak with power, own your greatness, without guilt, without apology, without hesitation. Because you were not put on this earth to be small, you were put here to be seen, heard, and remembered. And the moment you stop being afraid to take up space, that's the moment your whole life will change.